Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news.
A 31-year-old man charged with having sex with an underage girl found at her age. Straight ahead.
Some trade unionists expressed concerns over the new move at the Department of Labor.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joachim. Topping news tonight, 1 year after he called the sale of Baha Mar to its current owner a mistake, Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar changing his tune today as he admitted that the mega resort has become a major success. This as Baha Mar achieved another milestone tonight, the official opening of the Rosewood Hotel. Jasmine Brown reports.
Remember this?
At the end of the day, he would have been a far better operator of that hotel than some no-name Chinese company that has no experience operating in this jurisdiction. We know nothing about them. I just don't get that warm, fuzzy feeling that I get with Sarkis Ismailian. I think that this is a mistake.
That was de Aguilar defending former Baha Mar owner Sarkis Ismailian in October 2016 and blasting the new owners of Baha Mar, Perfect Luck Holdings Limited. At the time, he was just a candidate for the Free National Movement, but as a former Baha Mar board member, his views were strong. But this was de Aguilar today.
Let's say my position has changed. When I offered those views, I was the director of a company that was run by the initial investor. And I was supportive of those views. But now I'm the Minister of Tourism, and I'm not looking after I'm looking out for all Bahamians. That asset has been built, concessions have been given. It's now time, no matter what my feelings were, to get that hotel open and Bahamians employed.
It's no secret that before being elected to office, de Aguilar was a major critic of the project and the series of events that resulted in ownership passing from Sarkis Ismailian to Chow Tai Fook Enterprises. De Aguilar hasn't been the only critic, as F&M leader Dr. Hubert Minnis has also slammed the project in the past.
You see how they screwing us at Baha Mar? You see how they screwing us? We getting screwed royally. The contractors can talk about it.
Despite his constant criticism of Baha Mar, which he claimed had a fake opening last year, Minnis has been front and center for all of the mega resort's major milestones since the May 2017 election, including the 299-room SLS, which opened in November. And he's expected to deliver remarks at Rosewood at Baha Mar, which is opening today, and is already taking reservations for stays beginning June 1st. Meanwhile, de Aguilar's tune has also changed regarding which government can take credit for Baha Mar. The tourism minister says while some in opposition claim it was the PLP that brought Baha Mar to fruition, it's the complete opposite.
They keep claiming that this is a PLP deal. I just want to remind you that it was because of them this project has been delayed 2 years, and the economic impact of that was to the tune of $2 billion.
According to Senior Business Development Manager for the Caribbean and Expedia Group, Betty Julie Estrada, bookings to the Bahamas via Expedia are reportedly up nearly 30% over the same time last year. Estrada credited new properties like Baha Mar for contributing to that increase.
There is no doubt that the fact that Baha Mar is bringing on, or in the process of bringing on, 2,400 rooms is going to have a significant impact on our arrivals.
Now, de Aguilar says moving forward, the Minnis administration will do everything it can to ensure the project is successful moving forward. Reporting from the Cabinet Office for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Thanks, Jasmine. Turning now to news from the courts. A 31-year-old man was charged in the magistrate's court today with having unlawful sexual intercourse with an underage girl. This as a 23-year-old man faced a rape charge. Jared Higgs has that.
31-year-old Ricardo Burrows, shown here in the blue jacket and red shirt, is accused of having unlawful sexual intercourse with a 10-year-old girl. According to prosecutors, the incident took place sometime between January 1st and February 7th of this year. Burrows, a resident of Eden Street, was also charged with indecent assault. It's alleged that he placed his hand underneath a female's dress and tried to touch her vagina. Burrows is represented by attorney Walton Bain, who advised the court that his client is asthmatic and officers at the Central Detective Unit would not accept his medication. Deputy Chief Magistrate Subusola Swain made a note of the lawyer's concern before remanding his client to prison.
Now, 31-year-old Burrows was not required to enter a plea to the charges. He'll return to court on August 9th for service of voluntary bill of indictment paperwork.
Also facing the courts was 23-year-old Tavares Ineas of Forbes Street, shown here wearing a blue plaid blue shirt. Prosecutors allege that Ineas raped a woman on May 19th. He was not required to enter a plea, and his matter was adjourned until August 8th, when it will be fast-tracked to the Supreme Court.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jared Higgs.
Former BPSU leader John Pinder's appointment to Director of Labor not sitting well with some of his former colleagues. General Secretary of the Trade Union Congress Tyrone Morris says he believes the move is purely political, given Pinder's presence on the platform at an F&M mass rally prior to the May 2017 general election. He added it flies in the face of the F&M's campaign promise to eliminate the practice of making trade union leaders labor directors. Jillian Gray reports.
The recent announcement that Robert Farquharson has been replaced as Director of Labor by former BPSU President John Pinder is not sitting well with some trade unionists. Labor Minister Dion Fowkes asserted today that there is nothing wrong with a trade unionist being appointed as Director of Labor. However, his comment contradicts the FNM's 2017 campaign manifesto, which states that it will eliminate the practice of appointing persons to the post of Director of Labor who served as head of a trade union immediately preceding that appointment. Now, as Pinder is the immediate past president of the Bahamas Public Service Union, General Secretary of the Trade Union Congress Tyrone Morris says this appointment is very concerning and adds to the narrative that politicians simply don't keep their word.
Politics is just not as honorable as it ought to be. They say things to cause votes to come their way.
While folks said the move is simply a step in a new direction for the Department of Labor, Morris said he believes the move is purely political.
I don't see the need for change. I absolutely no reason for change, but that's not my call. The politicians, they have the reasons. My understanding is that a part of whatever it is that took place leading into the last election would have caused this to take place. You know, John had offered elsewhere, and at the end of the day, he ended up supporting the Free National Movement. And my understanding is this is part of that trade-off, you know, but there are things that politicians do.
However, the Labor Minister maintains the change is a part of the department's new move.
The Cabinet of the Bahamas decided to step in a new direction with respect to the department, and that is a decision that the government made.
Farquharson, who served as Labor Director since 2013, has been appointed to a newly created position as Executive Manager at the Ministry of Labor. Fowkes insisted that although the position is new, it was not created just for Farquharson. Speaking to Pinder's new appointment, Fowkes said he thinks the former BPSU leader will be fair to all.
We have traditionally had, I think with the exception maybe of one person, in the history of the Department of Labor, who did not at some point was involved with the trade union movement. But I must say that they have all been fair to both sides, and I'm sure that Mr. Pinder would continue in that tradition.
While the change came into effect as of May 1st, today is the first day both Farquharson and Pinder will function in their new roles. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Well, as government moves to rid the country of all shantytowns this summer, Chairman of the Shantytown Committee, Dion Fowkes, says he will meet this week with leaseholders of land that are currently housing the illegal communities.
All of the shantytowns are located on land that have the legal vested right in Bahamians, and I want to meet with them to basically give them notice of what we're doing and give them an opportunity to rectify the situation.
Last week, the committee released the results of its surveys on shantytowns in New Providence. The survey found that 1,410 people reside in those communities. In total, 428 households were assessed. Plans are underway to conduct another survey of shantytowns in Andros. Fowkes says that survey will begin next month. Well, executive management at Bahamas Power and Light is currently going island to island explaining the details of the voluntary separation packages to employees. This as the Nassau Guardian understands the company has earmarked over $20 million to pay out the more than 300 employees who have expressed interest. Today, we spoke with the company's chairman, Darnell Osborne, who was in Long Island meeting with employees there. She would not confirm a number of employees who expressed interest.
Well, no, I can't confirm that number.
Okay.
We just we open it up on Friday and in the afternoon. So we today is really the first working day, and several of our teams are traveling to the various family islands to discuss the package and explain it more.
Our news team was able to get a copy of the VSEP, which explains that employees will be eligible for a severance pay of up to 5 weeks base pay for each year they served and prorated to maximum of 98 weeks base pay. According to the document, all applications received will be considered and approval is at the discretion of management. The chairman today would not confirm that $20 million has been earmarked for this exercise.
No comment on that figure.
Okay. How many people...
and that would be determined. You see, the BPL has a pension plan, and so it depends on how many people take the package and the number of years that they have, which will determine the amount that will be paid out to each employee. And
BPL, which according to the chairman is tremendously overstaffed, currently has a staff complement of about 1,100 people. Severance payments will be made by direct deposit on or before July 4th. Employees have 2.5 weeks to apply.
It opened on May 18th, which was Friday, and it closes on June 8th. So the employees have from up until June 8th to determine whether they want to take the package.
On Saturday, Defense Force officers and the Run Dirty team will put eager participants through the ultimate obstacle course. 5 miles, 20 obstacles. Today, they gave me a test run to see if I can survive.
In and out, in and out, in and out. Good, let's go, let's be.
It's an obstacle course like no other.
Saturday we have a 5-mile course, 5 different locations for obstacles, 20 obstacles over that course, filled with plenty seawater, sand, salt, mud.
So you're gonna get messy?
You're gonna get really messy.
The setup today was at the Defense Force Coral Harbor base. Just as I got in, we got started. Just a heads up, I'm not an athlete. How long should it take me to do this?
Good time, about 90 seconds or so. Yeah. Yeah, but
someone said 45 seconds earlier. So.
If you got people, them hit that. So if you can hit that record or whatever, you're doing pretty good. Go! Let's go. Let's get up there. Pump all the way through. Pump all the way through. All right, get ready to get the rope. Get up the rope. All right, lock and pull. Go. Lock and pull. Lock and pull. How you do that? Good. Stand on it now. Good. Push down. Yes. Yes. All right. Good. Push up. Good. Pull up higher, high. Drive your knee up. Drive your knees up. Good. Keep the rope locked. Good. Drive your knees up. Good.
Yeah, that was as far as I got.
You gotta get it. Good. 30 seconds left. Up and over the top. Up and over the top. Good. Spring up and over. Good. Up. Not over. Not through. Not through. Not through. Not through. Hold on here. You need to touch it. You need to touch it. Tie underneath the axle. Watch your landing, watch your landing. Alright, you got a second to get to this tunnel. You got a second to get to the tunnel. Good, you shouldn't touch nothing. Good, get out there, get out there, get out there. Good, let's go, let's weave, let's weave, let's weave it, let's weave it. Let's weave it, let's weave it, let's weave it. Alright, hit these ties with aggression. Good, good, good.
I don't know if it was the rope or what, but by the time I got to the pull-up bar...
Good pull-ups. Good pull-ups. Up and down, up and down. Up and down. Good. Let's go extend it, extend it. Extend it from... Turn over the bar. Let's go. Good work. Good push. Good push.
I was tired.
How was it?
It's okay. It's okay. It's alright.
So just imagine combining this with 20 obstacles and 5 miles. Mud, seawater, fresh water. You'll be going through sand.
I can do it, it's just a rope.
For the last 3 years, we would have assisted good friends in terms of building these obstacles. And of course, not only building the obstacles, but managing the obstacles and ensuring that persons understand the stress and the strain of going through these obstacles.
Right. Registration is online at www.bahamahealth.com. You can register in teams of 5 and you actually don't have to do all of the obstacles. Feel free to just run or walk the whole 5 miles and leave the obstacles to folks like myself. It's going to be 10 times harder on Saturday.
Yes, that's just was a demo. Automatically, we can turn it up.
That was much harder than it looks again. Still to come on our news, why the Andros plane crash investigation could take a year. Stay tuned.